Good evening, everybody. It is now 6 o'clock. We're going to start our Boynton Beach CRA meeting. Just to confirm, IT, I do not need to ask for starting the broadcast, correct? Good to go. All right. We're going to start with an invocation from Board Member Hay, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance from Board Member Kelly.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and this opportunity to serve once again. We thank you for 2023, and we ask now, Lord, that you guide our hearts and minds in this coming year, 2024. We pray that the decision that we make will be pleasing in your ears and in your sight. Bless now this CRA board. Bless those who are present, and bless the absent part of this great board. We ask special blessing for our staff, help them to stay positive as we move forward in the year 2024 and accomplish those things that will be beneficial to the city of Boynton and its citizens. I ask it all in the name of Christ we pray. Let every heart say amen.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Hay and Board Member Kelly. Clerk, can we have the roll call, please?
Chair Pensurga? Absent. Vice Chair Turkin?
Present.
Board Member Hay?
Present.
Board Member Kelly?
Here.
Board Member Cruz? We have received a text from Board Member Cruz. She has a mandatory work event this evening from 5 to 8 p.m. Will not be able to join us. Vice Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, so tonight's meeting will end at 7 p.m. due to scheduling constraints of the board members. In light of that, I'm going to propose reordering the agenda as follows. Since Board Member Cruz is not here and the chair is not here, and I understand we have some additional scheduling restraints, I'm going to propose that we move item 12 to after 14, new business. Move 13A, 13B, 13C into consent agenda. Move item 14 to after 11. And then delete 14A, section 14 to after 11. And then delete 14A and 14C to be brought back by staff at the February meeting. So to recap, we will have consent, pulled consent, new business, then old business, then CRAB, then the rest of the agenda would proceed as usual. Also, does anyone want to hear anything regarding section 15, or do we want to forego that due to the scheduling constraints that we have?
I think we should forego that.
Okay. Okay, perfect. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda with the proposed deletions and reorganization?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Kelly and a second by Board Member Hay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say no. Okay, all right. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, legal, Catherine.
Good evening, Catherine Rossma with Lewis, Longwood, and Walker. I also want to introduce my law partner, Janice Rustin, who's here just to work with you on the circuit agreement. She's been working with you, so when that agenda item comes up, she'll be the one in charge with you. Other than that, happy January.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Catherine. Do we have any informational items, disclosures? We'll start with you, Board Member Kelly.
I do not have any disclosures. Thank you.
Board Member Hay.
And neither do I.
Okay, and that goes for myself as well. All right, we are now moving on to public comments. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, we're now moving on to public comments. Public will be given an opportunity to comment at the time each item is considered. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. However, the board retains the right to reduce the number of minutes prior to the start of the public comment. Persons making public comment may not assign or donate their public comment time to another individual. or allow that other individual additional time to comment. However, any persons requiring assistance will be accommodated as required by the ADA. Prior to addressing the board, please go to the podium or unmute your device when prompted and state your name and address for the record. I want to remind no personal attacks. If there's any personal attacks, I will ask, I will end your time and I will ask IT to end your time. Thanks. All right, do we have any public comment? If we have public comment, please rise to the podiums. All right, seeing none, we're going to now move on to,
Vice Chair Turkin, may I ask you to check online to see if there's any public?
I'm doing that. Yeah, we got a new process with online. So I'm looking here, we have a few members online, 3 on air. I see that Jason Bagley is online. Jason Bagley, did you have anything for public comment?
Mr. Bagley is with Circuit,
Okay.
so it will probably pertain to that item.
Okay, perfect. And then I see the broker for Northwest 11th. I'm assuming that's pertaining to that agenda item. And then I see Pulte's also online. So I'm understanding there's no public comment requested online from what I'm seeing? Nope.
Excuse me, Vice Chair. Pulte's item was moved to consent,
Okay.
which now would be the appropriate time, if I'm incorrect, as to provide any comment that they
Okay,
may have.
perfect. All right, so Elliot, if you would like to have public comment, please go ahead. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay,
Can
perfect.
everybody hear me?
Yep, I'm going to go
Okay.
ahead and start your time. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Great. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. I'll just discuss my prepared comments, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, of course, if they arise. And as we appreciate the support from the City of Boynton Beach and the CRA. We received rezoning approval this past Tuesday at first reading, and we'll be back at the commission at the beginning of next month for final approval. And we're, regarding our contract, we're through due diligence. Closing is scheduled on the 26th. We're assuming to have engineering permits prior, and if not, we're planning to request utilizing our closing extension. There's also our information that's also included. That's my brief update. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and we're just really excited about the project, and things are progressing along as scheduled.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Elliot.
Thank you.
Okay, and just to confirm, I might pronounce this wrong, Floor Heaton, that's Northwest 11th, and we'll get to that. We'll provide comment on that agenda item. Okay, that concludes public comment. We are now moving to consent agenda. And we have incorporated 13A, B, and C into consent agenda. Do any of my colleagues want to pull any of these agenda items for discussion?
No, Vice Chair.
Nope. All right, can I have a motion to approve these agenda items?
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Board Member Hay, a second from Board Member Kelly. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Nay. Okay. All right, so that concludes consent agenda. And so now we are on to 14, new business, correct?
Yes.
14B.
All right, 14B.
B.
All right, 14B, discussion and consideration of purchase of 1111 South Federal Highway. I guess we'll start with Executive Director Tim, if you don't mind jumping off here.
Good evening, Board. As you all are aware, CRA staff actively pursues the purchase of properties within the CRA district in order to spur redevelopment opportunities in accordance with the CRA plan. The current property that is before you tonight is 1111 South Federal Highway, which is located within the downtown district. If, Vicki, if you could pull up the location map, which is attachment 2. 1111 South Federal is a vacant lot, approximately 0.35 acres, which is currently zoned as C3 Community Commercial. The future development would be a potential mixed use under the mixed use medium future land use classification. The development potential would allow mixed use development with a maximum density of 40 to 50 units per acre and a maximum height of 65 to 75 feet. You can see it's the vacant parcel that's highlighted in red on the corner of Southeast 4th Street, Southeast 10th Avenue, adjacent to Federal Highway. The property is currently listed for sale at $895,000. The broker has advised that the owner would accept $850,000 for the property. This is comparable to the square footage cost of our recent CRA acquisitions that we provided within the agenda item. And an appraisal's been performed on December 31st, and it has appraised at $891,000, which is what they're willing to accept is $41,000 below appraised. This item is being brought before the board for discussion of potential purchase of this vacant lot.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Tim. All right, I guess we'll go ahead and start with comments on my left. Board Member Kelly?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I talked to Tim for a long time during my agenda review, and this is, I feel like this is like a prime property for us. I think that with the federal highway access and its proximity to other properties that the city or the CRA have, I think that this is, they're not asking, I feel like this is, I hate ever using the term no-brainer, but I feel like this is one of those instances where we really, this is an opportunity for us to really capture some property that has potential. So that's my position on this.
Board Member Hay?
I too feel that it's a good deal. Did you say it was like 0.35 acres?
That is
Something like
correct, 0.35.
Okay, and it's zones C3?
Currently, it is.
Okay. Yeah, I think, 41,000 below.
41,000 below appraised, yes.
I think that's a sweet deal, so I'm in favor.
Okay, awesome. I will agree with my colleagues. I think this is a great opportunity. I think the positioning's great. We do have the senior center across the street, and so I'd love to see this parcel move forward and maybe incorporate some type of dialogue with that in the future. That senior center is very old, and I think this, again, with my colleagues, great opportunity, and so I would like to support this. So I guess our options would be someone would need to make a motion to pursue, do we want to, I'm assuming not asking, I apologize, but the lowest and best offer from what the broker had communicated to Tim?
We would be looking for, if that's the option that you're looking for, we would looking for a motion to approve the purchase of the vacant lot located at 1111 South Federal Highway in the amount of, what did we say again? $850,000, and authorize the board chair to execute a purchase and sale agreement subject to final legal review.
Just for clarification, that would be your standard purchase and development agreement. Any variation from that would bring back before this board.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Catherine. May I have that motion? Or do we
Motion
want-
to approve the purchase of the vacant lot located at 1111 South Federal Highway in the amount to be determined, or do we say 850? Because it says, I'm reading what the agenda item says, to be
it's a-
determined by the CRA board.
The way it reads right
Oh.
now, we didn't know what the price would be,
Okay.
so, or the purchase that you would offer,
Okay.
so.
The amount of $850,000 and authorize the board chair to execute a purchase and sale agreement subject to final legal review.
I second with comment.
Okay, so we have a motion from Board Member Kelly and a second from Board Member Hay for discussion.
Yes, we don't have anything right now planned for that spot, do we, that site?
We do not have anything currently planned, but
So we
certainly
would be more or less land banking it?
that would be the opportunity here, with the opportunity to work with the city in some capacity, also as an option.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. I don't have any additional comments. Board Member Kelly, is there anything else?
Nope.
No? We do need public comment on this. Okay. All right, so we are going to entertain public comment. Those in person, if you would like to give public comment, please come up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Oh, sir? Yep.
Yes,
And
hi,
then
my
please
name-
just state your name and address for the record. I'm going to go ahead and start your time.
Yes, my name is Blair Lee, and I'm the broker for the property that you just discussed. And so I've just wanted to come up and, because I had conferred with my client who owns the property at 111 South Federal Highway. And, when we were discussing it just before the holidays, my client was amenable to something between the list price and $850. Obviously, the purchase price came in at $891. He has continued throughout the process to get approvals, to get the square footage, and he's getting closer. He's been, him and his associate, by the way, they tried to get on. They weren't able to get on the website for, he just texted me and said, hey, I can only watch. I can't opine on, because he's been going through the approval process. And right now, we're close to 3,000 square feet approvals, or he's working towards that with a site plan. And he thinks because we can get parking off-site, he can get another 200 to 400 square feet. My client is willing to sell it, but we would also maybe see if, since it came in at the appraised value, if that's something that the board would consider is just purchasing at the appraised value. That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, Catherine?
I was just going to offer the board chair a few options if you would like.
Sure.
Okay, so you can certainly, you can accept that, you can pass your motion as it is, or you can direct staff to
Negotiate.
negotiate further and then bring something back to you next month.
Okay, perfect. So I want to hear from my colleagues. Start with you, Board Member Kelly, based on the,
Yeah, I'm comfortable with staff negotiating further and seeing if that's, seeing what we can work out.
okay. Board Member Hay?
And I agree.
Okay, and that'll put us at 3. So let's go ahead and, do we need to change that motion? Okay, so can I have a motion? Do we need to rescind?
Can I just amend my motion?
Okay,
Okay, so motion to approve the purchase of the vacant lot located at 1111 South Federal Highway and direct staff to negotiate with the seller to determine the appropriate sales price and authorize board chair to execute. No, just, and come back to the board for more direction. Is that?
okay, perfect. I have a motion from Board Member Kelly. Do I have a second?
I'll second that second.
All right. All right, we have a second from Board Member Hay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. And the motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Apologies, board chair, I need you to go back and see if there's any online public comment about this.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Sorry. All right. Do we have any, that's right. Thank you, Catherine. Do we have any online public comment pertaining to this agenda item? From what I see here on the screen, seeing none, that concludes public comment online. All righty. So we'll move forward. Next agenda item, we have 14D, discussion and consideration of purchase of lot 348, Tech 350 Northwest 11th Avenue. Tim, do you mind introducing this item?
Gladly. The parcel here is 348, 350 Northwest 11, located in Cherry Hill in the heart of Boynton District. If you could pull up the location map. Should be attachment 2. The property is approximately 0.175 acres and zoned R2 duplex. The future development would be mixed-use development under the mixed-use future land use classification. The development potential would be medium density residential with a maximum density of up to 11 units per acre and a maximum height of 45 feet. The CRA has successfully in the past partnered with Habitat for Humanity and the Boynton Beach Faith-based Community Development Corporation in using such infill lots to fulfill the mission of providing affordable housing as well as Habitat for Humanity. The property is currently listed at $174,900. The broker has advised that the owner would accept $165,000, which is the appraised value of the property. This is comparable to, again, the square footage cost for recent CRA acquisitions within the heart of Boynton District, which has been provided as a part of an attachment to this agenda item. This item, again, is being brought before the board for discussion and potential purchase of this vacant lot.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tim. So we'll start discussion with Board Member Hay. We'll let you go this first. Give Board Member Kelly a break this time.
Yeah,
Microphone.
I just feel that,
Microphone on?
huh?
Microphone on? Thank you,
It
Board
would help
Member
if
Hay.
I turned it on, huh? Okay. You know, I thought about this one, and who's doing the maintenance now?
Excuse me?
This is on D?
This is agenda item 14D. Forgive
Okay.
me.
Northwest 11th Avenue. There's a site map.
Right. It's
Okay.
lot 348, 350 Northwest 11th.
Oh, no wonder. Maybe I should look at this one.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
two. It's,
Yeah, okay. No, I think that's a good deal. I really do. So I would say to go ahead and move on the purchase of Northwest 11th Avenue based on staff recommendation.
Okay, is that all, Board Member Hay?
Yeah.
Okay, Board Member Kelly, your thoughts?
I also agree that I feel like this is fair and this is right, where we want it to be. I was looking at some of the other, when I was talking to Tim, we were looking at some of the other properties. There was a bunch of parcels in that same area that went up for auction, and it was, they sold for, comparable, but maybe even a little bit. So I feel like this is something that we really are getting our, we're getting a good deal, and I think that we should jump on this for future use. I love, with partnering with either faith-based CDC or Habitat. I think this is a great spot for new development, so I'm good.
Okay, perfect. I will concur with my colleagues on this. I do see that there's a representative, is it Fleur?
That's the best as I know.
Choice was good.
Oh, perfect. Go ahead, sir. I don't know. Do you have any additional information or any thoughts on this? Any comments?
Well, I've been through the property myself, and it's flat, ready to build. And I met some of the neighbors, and they're very nice neighbors, and they're looking out for the sign and looking out for any trash to be being deposited on the land. And my seller has agreed. I convinced him to get an appraisal from a licensed appraiser. And to go by that, we were trying to get more. And of course, there's builders that have a bit of an interest in the property. But I recommended that he go with you because of the end users that you would bring to that property, which warms his heart. And he'd be happy to have you as the purchaser and put some good families, give them a good roof over their head.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Is there any questions or follow-up from my colleagues? No. All right. Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to proceed with the purchase of lot 348-350 Northwest 11th Avenue.
And are we going to incorporate the cost in that motion? Or do we want to negotiate?
How about, Board Chair, if I may recommend that you all have your staff and legal finalize the agreement for you all to approve next meeting.
Okay, perfect. So then we'll just,
Yeah, consistent with the terms in your staff report that is before you,
Okay.
so the purchase price and those things. If that's what you all are deciding, that the purchase price here, allow us to finalize the agreement and bring it back for your final approval.
okay, perfect. Is,
Yes.
that's your motion? All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Board Member Hayes, second from Board Member Kelly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously. All right, moving forward. And thank you again for your comments. Actually, do we need to online? All right, public comment. Public comment. Anyone in person wanting public comment on this item, please come up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, we're going to move to online. We already heard from the representative, and I identify the other two as ASL interpreters, and Jason Bagley's for a different agenda item. So seeing no more for online comment, public comment.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want you to explain what she said and what exactly was the motion, and how it passed, because it was so fast I didn't understand it.
Hi, Catherine Rossmel, attorney for the Boynton Beach CRA. It was simply to finalize the form of the purchase and development agreement at the price that is listed in the staff report, and bring it back for final approval for this board. So it is just to finalize the terms of the agreement, the purchase and development agreement, and bring it back to the board, which I believe meets in 3 weeks, because this is a later meeting.
Okay, so you recommend that, and they voted on purchasing the property at the price, at the appraised value, and just present that information in the next meeting in 3 weeks?
Present the final contract at the meeting in 3 weeks. Yes, ma'am.
Very good, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your explanation. Thank.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Anything else? All right, so that concludes public comment and this agenda item. Moving forward, we are now, correct me if I'm wrong, we are now, because of the switching, we are now at 13A. Discussion and consideration of lease amendment between Boynton Beach CRA and Cafe.
D.
D, as in dog.
Oh, did I say-
13D.
Yeah, we moved.
Okay,
A,
I'm
B,
sorry.
and C under
So we're
consent.
in 13D, correct?
Yes.
Did I say A?
Yeah.
Okay, I
That's fine.
apologize.
No
All right, so
problem.
13, old business, 13D, Delta, discussion and consideration of lease amendment between Boynton Beach CRA and Cafe Barista Incorporated, DBA Hurricane Alley. All right. Do we want to, Tim, do you want to introduce this item? And then I see,
Absolutely. We have
Kelly
Representative
here.
Kim Kelly here
Okay.
to talk about it as well. The CRA purchased the properties located at 511, 515, 529 East Ocean Avenue on December 16, 2021. At the time of closing, Cafe Barista Incorporated, doing business as Hurricane Alley, was a tenant with an active lease, which was assigned to the CRA. The lease is set to expire February 29th, 2024. So Kim Kelly, owner of Hurricane Alley, has requested a one-year lease extension to February 28th, 2025, under the same terms and conditions of the current lease. And BBQOZ LLC, also the developer for the Pierce project, was provided with a request for an extension and has approved the request. So, due to the condition of the aging building and costs associated with ongoing maintenance, the CRA board may elect to increase the rent. As a standard practice, a typical annual commercial rent increase would be between 3 to 5%. The current base rent is $6,477.19. And we have provided with you what that 3, 4, 5% increase would look like on a monthly basis. Any additional extensions shall be subject to CRA board approval for any unforeseen circumstances that may arise from any current litigation that's currently happening, which is ongoing with the Pierce project. So this is up for the board's discussion and consideration.
okay, perfect. For my colleagues, do you want to have discussion now and then hear Ms. Kelly speak, or do y'all want to hear Ms. Kelly speak?
I want to hear Ms. Kelly speak
Okay,
first.
perfect, all right.
Hi.
Ms. Kelly, go ahead.
Kim Kelly, owner, operator, Hurricane Alley, 529 East Ocean Avenue. Yes, I'm asking for the same terms. As you said, the building is getting older, and the maintenance really isn't what it should be. The building, the whole area is just being dilapidated. I'm really the only one that pressure cleans. I weed whack. I do all the landscaping. I pick up all the trash. There's potholes in the parking lot that could fit a small child. Right now, my business is not worth anything because of this lawsuit. I do not have a future right now. So I think, in all honesty, the only thing that we can do is continue with the same conditions, considering how I've been put on hold now for many years. And it seems like we don't know where the future's going. And you know what I'm talking about. I've done due diligence. I take care of that place. I mean, you've gotten rid of every single tenant, but yet raise my rent doesn't seem fair. And like I said, I upkeep that. On Monday, we're doing another renovation on a building that's going to get torn down because I don't have a choice. I was supposed to move at this time, pretty much. And now I'm stuck taking care of a building that's literally just getting older and older. So I implore you to keep me in Boynton Beach, keep my rent. My rent is not $6,000 something, it's $7,300. So by raising that, we're not raising our prices and our food. We're trying to keep the people of the city of Boynton Beach a place to go that they can afford. And raising rents would really hurt us at this point because there's nothing really down there. It's almost a ghost town again. So,
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kelly.
thank you.
All right, we will go ahead and start discussion. We'll start with you, Board Member Hay. What are your
Okay.
thoughts?
Say the rent is $6,477.19,
It's $7,297.61 a month. And I pay for the dumpsters, and every business around there uses those dumpsters, including the CRA, police, and the park rangers that are now residing there. The businesses across the street use it. The people in the park use it. Yet I'm paying 90% of it. So, I mean, I'm really taking on a lot of cost here.
I understand that, Kim. The cost of material is going up, everything is going up.
Yes.
We also know that the situation that's going on is out of our hands.
Yes, I understand that.
I would like to know from staff, is the quoted amount of $64,7719 versus 73 almost. What's,
Teresa Utterback part of our CRA staff can explain a little bit further. That is the base rent, so.
okay,
Correct. In your backup, you would have the lease that has the base rent. On top of that, she's correct, she does pay more than that, but that is the base rent. And added on to that has been the increase over the years from 2017, when we didn't own the property. It increased, her base did. And then on top of that, she's got, hold on, $1,000 added to that for her alcohol license, and $375 that's added on to that for the office upstairs. So that's why all of those combined, she is correct, comes to that amount. But if you were to increase, why we did it this way is you wouldn't increase her on the $1,000 for her liquor license. You would just be doing her base rent. Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I just wanted, so you guys understood. Because we wouldn't increase it on the 70-some hundred, we,
And please remember,
for fair, for
if
her.
something happens to me, my business is worthless right now because I have no lease. I cannot sell it. I can't entertain it. So we got to keep me healthy, but you just have to kind of keep that. So we're trying to save every penny we can, so when we do move, we're able to move. I mean, we've been here for 27 years. We want to stay here for another 27.
Okay.
Understood that. I understand that. Did we have any high expenses over the last year or so for maintenance? Can you comment on that?
That particular unit, what we had to do was replace the AC, because we're responsible for the AC unit. That was one, and then the only other big ticket item for
Okay.
that particular unit is structural. We keep, every 6 months, we have a structural engineer, just because when we purchased it, there were some issues with the building, so that we monitor if those issues are increasing. It's structural, so, and that runs about $450 every 6 months.
I see.
And
Okay.
I take care of all my other ACs. I take care of anything that breaks. I don't call them, which I could for certain little things, as Teresa knows. I mean, we've had a great working relationship with the Oyers and hopefully now with the CRA. But like you said, I'm kind of in a very different position, not a normal lease where rent should be increased on a normal basis.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, T.
Okay.
Based on the way I assess this, I don't have a problem in, based on what's going on, there's a lot going on right now. I have no problem in keeping it as is for right now and extending it for one more year.
Thank you.
Okay. Board Member Hay, do you have anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Okay. Board Member Kelly, your thoughts?
I feel the same way. I think that, I would like to see, the only thing I would ask him is if you are really having these issues, if they can be kind of either reported to city, to code or to the CRA so that, and I say it to all of the residents that I run into, you're our eyes and ears and we can't be everywhere. And so if you're seeing a constant issue, then please don't just handle it.
Right.
I have.
Reach
Yeah,
out to the.
I have reached out to certain people.
Right.
Good point.
So,
Thank you.
I mean, so that's my, I don't want you to feel like you have to do things that are really the job of the city or the CRA or somebody else. So, so I'm fine, I'm comfortable though, just, like Board Member, Hay, with leaving it as it is, moving forward, because we're all in a position right now that is out of our control, and so, but let's, keep working together to make sure you have what you need and move forward.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so my position is similar to my colleagues. We didn't foresee all this happening. This is a very interesting situation, and typically we're not in the landlord business, and I know there's been different situations in the past. However, this is no fault to your own. I think if we all had it our way, hopefully you'd be in your new place.
Would be nice.
So given that, I agree with my colleagues, and I'll entertain a motion. I believe one of our options is approve and execute the one-year extension under the same terms and conditions. Can I entertain a motion for that?
Motion.
Chair, if I may interject, I'm so sorry, public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. All right. Do we have a public comment on this item?
Ernie's not here. You guys are thrown off.
Ms. Kelly, you don't have anything else to add?
No.
Okay,
I'm
all
good.
right. All right, seeing no one else in person, we're going to move online. Okay, looks like there's no one else online. That concludes public comment.
Motion to approve and execute the one-year extension under the same terms and conditions.
Second.
Perfect. We have a motion from Board Member Kelly, a second from Board Member Hay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Comment.
Yep, oh, sorry.
That date would be February 29th, 2025, correct?
Oh, yeah.
February 28th, 2025.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would start on it would be the day after the 29th of February, so it,
Missed it by that
right,
much.
because we're currently in a leap year.
All right, leap year.
Okay.
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 Throws everyone off.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so we had the motion for Board Member Kelly, second by Board Member Hay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you
staff.
again. Appreciate it.
All right, next, so the next item, 13E, is currently tabled.
Motion.
Status update on,
Should we motion to untable it?
so yeah, that's what I'm going to ask. Is there a motion to untable this item?
Motion to
Okay.
untable.
We have a motion from Board Member Kelly, second from Board Member Hay, and the item is off the table. Board Member Kelly, since you wanted to remove it, you want to
Untabled
go
it?
ahead and start?
Tim, has anything changed since our agenda review last week? Have we heard anything with regard to this item? Do you want to introduce
Just a
it?
brief little, if you want,
want-
for the
you wanna
benefit of the
introduce it
public,
for
if you will. Back in July 11th, 2023, the CRA board requested a project update on this project, which is a container restaurant concept restaurant located at 211 East Ocean Avenue. There was an email sent to Mr. Barber, and I believe copying Mr. Mayo as well, requesting the status of the following: a major site plan approval application, development cost update, finance update, and a development timeline. Back at our last meeting, in which this was discussed in November, it was the understanding that they were to provide a financial, their financial commitment or proof of financing by tonight's meeting, and as of such, it has not been provided. You guys tabled this so that there was no action, so that you could discuss taking action at a later time. But essentially, we have provided for your use a default letter, if you guys elect to enforce the requirements per the agreement. So that is your option to discuss. It was pretty well discussed at the November meeting, is the action that you would take. I do not see a representative here tonight to discuss this, and I'm not aware if they would be online. We have had several attempts and several emails to communicate and stress the importance of this, and we have not heard any feedback. So no, nothing has changed as of agenda prep meetings that were conducted last week and this week.
You, Tim?
Perfect, thank you, Tim. Board Member?
Yeah, I mean, this is really hard, and I remember from the November 13th meeting, I mean, this is very difficult for, for us to discuss, and, when I wasn't on the board at the time that this came up, but it was something we were all very excited for and wanted to see happen, and for, whatever reason, right now, it's not maybe the right time and place and everything, so, I mean, my position is, I feel like there hasn't, even since November, been made any effort to work with CRA staff if there was an update or hitting some speed bumps. So I think that, I mean, my position is that we move forward with issuing a notice of default based on our position on November 13th.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Kelly. Board Member Hay, thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
No, the only concern I have is just, it's unfortunate, because I think, like Board Member Keller just stated, we all had high hopes for this. But to have no correspondence, not even a phone call, or email, in this day and age of social media, and you have heard nothing since November, that's, do we have any other irons in the fire?
Tim?
Just so you're aware, I did have a phone conversation with Mr. Barber the day before Thanksgiving, in which
When?
he acknowledged that he was actively
The
pursuing.
day before Thanksgiving.
The day before Thanksgiving. He acknowledged that he was, they were working towards having their proof of financing, and that they had secured it to some level, but I have not heard since.
So it's just word of mouth at this point?
Correct.
Right.
I can read through, I can read through, if you'd like, the dates in which emails were sent, but I really don't want to, if you want me to. I mean, there were several attempts made by staff and myself as well throughout the months of November and December.
Couple of things. I'm ready to move forward, not with Mr.
With
Barber
default?
on default. However, this is the decision that is very important. I don't feel, it's a 60-40 with me, with two board members being absent to make this decision. Even though we have a quorum, I'm torn to, but there's no representative here tonight either. Huh?
No, and the default gives him 15 days to cure it too,
And he
so.
knew about this meeting and all that good stuff, like
Well,
everybody else.
the board was very clear that he was to provide proof of financing for this very specific date back in November, at the November board meeting.
I say move forward with default.
Okay, so I'm hearing move forward with directing legal counsel to issue a notice of default. So my position is similar. We've granted it multiple extensions, I believe, at this point in time, and we have very detailed conversation at the November meeting. And the purchaser had mentioned, hold my feet to the fire if I don't come through, if we don't have the financing. And so that is my position. So I'm going to entertain a motion to direct legal counsel to issue a notice of default to the purchaser. Do I have that motion?
Yes, motion to direct staff to move forward with the default on 211 East Ocean Avenue.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Board Member Hay, a second from Board Member Kelly. I'll just add in there, I think it's very important to know for the public as well, and also for staff, in case we do hear from Mr. Barber, that there is 15 days from what I understand. So if we come back in 15 days, hey, we may be discussing, but we have made our decision. And so if we don't hear in 15 days, we will pursue default. Is that correct?
So the way it would work is right now, you would be, based on this motion, directing your legal counsel to send this notice of default. He'd have 15 days to cure. If he does not cure within that time, you would take action at the next meeting or whenever you so chose to formally terminate the agreement.
Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, so this seems to be the last hope, which I'm okay with. And I will go ahead and call for the vote. No public comment, just kidding. Thanks, Catherine. All right. Do we have? Yeah, laser beams mine. All right, do we have any in-person public comment regarding this item? Seeing none, let's check online. Online, I only have the ASL interpreters and then also Mr. Bagley for circuit, so nothing additional. That concludes public comment on this item. So all those in favor of the motion before us, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. The motion has it unanimously and 3-0, and we're moving forward. So the next agenda item we have is 13F, consideration of candidates for selection of new executive director. For this item, I am,
Table?
okay, perfect. Motion to table?
Motion to table?
All right.
Second.
Second, all right, so I won't add anything to that. This is a very important decision, and this I do believe everyone should be here for. So we had a motion to table this item to the next CRA meeting from Board Member Kelly, and a second from Board Member Hay. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and all those opposed say nay. Perfect, all right. Next, we are at 13G, discussing in consideration of a contract with Circuit Transit for the BBCR pilot rideshare program. We have 10 minutes to discuss this item. I want to ask my colleagues, do you want to take this 10 minutes to start this conversation, or do we want to table this item? I just want to give a reminder that we have 10 minutes until 7. I'm indifferent, so whatever you guys decide.
As I recall from the last time we discussed this, I think all of us were in favor of the vehicles. I think it was two gyms and one EV.
So so I'm just going to, before we start in the dialogue, do we want to move forward with discussion? We have 10 minutes.
Let's have Tim open the item.
Okay.
And then maybe we can, if it's gonna drag on, then we can, right?
Okay, so we'll start the conversation, and if we
You may
need to table,
continue
we'll
to the
table.
next meeting if you want to.
Okay, perfect. All right, Tim, please introduce the item.
Absolutely. At the September 2023 CRA board meeting, the board approved piggybacking onto the City of Hollywood's contract with Circuit Transit Incorporated for the CRA pilot rideshare program and requested that staff provided an update obtaining costs from Circuit Transit. Back in November, at the November meeting, a representative from Circuit made a presentation on the proposed services for all-electric on-demand ride-sharing service. At the end of the presentation, the board made a consensus on the following items and directed staff to begin contract negotiations with Circuit. That was to provide a service that would be on demand with the exception of fixed routes for special events, extend services along Federal Highway Corridor south to include Southwest 23rd Avenue, a initial contract term of 6 months with the option to renew for an additional 6 months, a contract to include the use of 3 GEM cars and 1 EV sedan, a report back to the board quarterly once the contract began, and to have staff work with Circuit to determine the hours, days, and rates. Staff has met with Circuit representatives to finalize the contract terms and conditions as directed by the board. The draft contract is provided within the agenda and includes the revised negotiated terms and conditions for the board's review and consideration. Those revised terms and conditions are as follows. Contract to include the use of 2 GEM vehicles with 1 being ADA accessible and 2 EV sedans. The reason for the change is based upon historical data, and Mr. Bagley can contest to this if you would like to speak to him. He is online, but we were anticipating a lot of rides to the destination of Sunshine Square where you have Publix as well as all those commerce, and it would behoove us to have more of a sedan to run that route with a higher rate of speed along Federal Highway. So that was the change. In addition to that, even though the EV sedans would be invoiced at the same rate as a GEM vehicle, because there is a reduced expense that is not reflected within the contract, the original contract at Hollywood, so that they would invoice us as a GEM, but it would provide the sedan. So they have agreed to that. As well as in evaluating the vehicle hours, staff has looked at worst case scenarios and best case scenarios and what would be most efficient, and staff is recommending looking at 60 vehicle hours per week per vehicle, and that's reflected within the agreement as well. The rideshare service, we would be looking at providing rideshare service from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, for a total of 74 operating hours, which is in contrast to the actual billable vehicle hours. We would also look for your approval and consideration of allowing a CRA project manager to coordinate with Circuit to adjust operational hours, and vehicle makeup as needed within the allotted $33,333 monthly budget, or to stay as close to that as possible and to make alterations as necessary. We do not anticipate any changes outside what is in the draft currently, and probably would not change anything until at least the 3-month review, which we would come back with the data for the board to look at and see if there would be additional changes that would be required. Circuit has also, looked to credit back the CRA for electrical service charges that would be charged by FP&L for the charging. And also, we are looking at the CRA reimbursing Circuit for costs to modify the existing electrical service to accommodate new charging equipment if the pilot rideshare program did not exceed an additional 6 months after the initial 6-month term. So essentially, there's costs associated with modifying the existing electrical service that is the city's to accommodate 3 level 2 charging stations. So that amount they would be looking for, if it only lasted 6 months, the CRA would reimburse them for that infrastructure improvement. If it was for a year, they would absorb the costs. CRA and Circuit would equally split the net advertising revenue, which would less out the cost for the marketing as well as securing that advertising revenue. So it basically would be a 50-50 split between Circuit and the CRA. CRA staff has conducted site visits with Circuit to review potential parking and charging locations. It was determined that the best location for the vehicles, the 4 parking spaces, would be in the north lot of Town Square. There is a existing city charging stations. They are currently charge 3 city EV vehicles there. So we would look to modify the existing electrical service to extend the charging for the 3 new level 2 chargers. The CRA will coordinate with the city to provide those 4 parking stalls. It should also be noted, in order to provide the dedicated parking location, the electrical service for the charging, the rideshare service to the oceanfront beach park, and the potential fixed route rideshare service for future city events, an interlocal agreement with the city will be required to fund any additional outside service of the CRA boundaries. If approved, service would begin no later than 30 days after the interlocal agreement is approved at the next available city commission meeting. And Janice, correct me if I'm wrong, if parties both agree, we could extend that even further if there were some complications with getting the electrical charging station infrastructure in place.
That is correct.
Okay. CRA staff also worked with the circuit team to distribute a survey to current circuit riders and the residents of Boynton Beach, as well as another survey to the small businesses within our CRA district. And essentially, the feedback that we received is people are not necessarily aware of circuit, the majority, but they are willing to use it. So, and also they would be interested in possibly advertising with the in-app or possibly on the vehicle itself. But again, it's a base point. We can reevaluate the survey data in 3 months after it's been operating to get a better idea of how it's being received, as well as what type of fares and what type of ridership we would have. So Mr. Begley's here. If you have any additional questions or if you have any contractual questions, Janice is here to also answer. And it's open for your discussion and consideration.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim. Board Member Kelly, Board Member Hay, do y'all have any questions for Janice or Mr. Bagley?
I guess my questions are more or less for Tim. Just remind me again, if for some reason we decide to go with, the turnout is tremendous and we needed to go to another vehicle, how long would it take to?
I would refer to Mr. Bagley in that regard, but I have a recollection if you wouldn't, could you
Mr.
be
Bailey?
available?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Bagley.
Yes, thank you all for having me this evening. The time to order an additional vehicle, it's going to depend a little bit on what vehicle type. If it was a sedan right now, we can get those in a matter of a few weeks. The GEM vehicles are a little bit longer order time. But as Tim had mentioned, I feel that the sedans are going to be the better fit and offer the most flexibility there and potential future connections to Tri-Rail or anywhere else outside of the downtown core. So in general, we'll fast track whatever we can. Sedans, I would say definitely under a month. GEMs might be up to 6 weeks.
Okay. Thank you. Also, whomever, we're talking about operating hours, 8 in the morning to 10 p.m. Sunday and Thursday, and 10 to 10 on Friday and Saturday. I think you told me, but remind me again. Overnight, when those vehicles are parked, where are they going to be, and where's the liability stand?
We will be, as a part of the interlocal agreement, working with the city to provide 4 parking spaces in the north parking lot located at the corner of Boynton Beach Boulevard and Seacrest, where the city currently has EV charging stations.
Okay.
So it would be on the north parking lot, just
On the
north of here.
parking lot there.
Yes, sir.
And again, I guess it goes without saying, if there's any damage, that would be on us, liability.
The liability, Janice, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the liability would be with Circuit, since it is their vehicle as well as their equipment.
Absolutely. We have it in, if anything happens to the vehicles while they're parked in our location, or in the location that's reserved for Circuit. Circuit would typically own those spaces for the purposes of this agreement. So if anything were to happen with the vehicles, the CRA would not be liable for damage to the vehicles at that location.
Just one other quick question. When we have special events here at the city, do those drivers get overtime, and who pays it?
I believe the contract as it's written right now, it wouldn't be considered overtime, but Mr. Bagley can correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be additional staffing, and there is a rate within the contract that would provide what that hourly rate structure would be.
Do you want to hear
That's
from
correct. That would be for us to staff and avoid any overtime. There'd be no additional cost to the city or the CRA.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions,
That's it.
comments, board
That's
member?
it.
All right, board member Kelly.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, perfect. All right, I reviewed this extensively with Tim. I'm comfortable with this. And so I just want to hear from my colleagues if we want to move forward or not.
I want to move forward.
All right, can I get the motion?
Motion to move forward with the staff recommendations for the Circuit Transit Incorporation for the CRA pilot program, share program.
Okay. Does that suffice,
Do I need to
Catherine?
add-
Do you want me to, I can read the, okay, so approve the agreement. So as I understand, Commissioner, or Board Member Hay,
Yeah.
you want to approve the agreement with Circuit Transit, Inc. for the BBCR pilot ride share program as presented and authorize the board chair to execute subject to final legal review.
Yes.
All right, Catherine, we're good? Okay, thanks. All right,
Second, I have a discussion.
Okay, we have a motion from Board Member Hay and a second from Board Member Kelly for discussion.
I just have a question for legal. So at the, so this contract is for a 6-month term, correct? And then what happens at that 6-month, at the end of the 6-month term?
So at the end of the 6 months, the initial term the contract will be automatically renewed for another 6 months. And at the end of, that's the renewal term, that is the end of this agreement. So it's really only a 1-year pilot agreement. So it'll automatically be renewed by agreement of the parties for the second 6-month period. And at the end of the second 6-month period, a new agreement will come back that will be not a pilot program, but a more permanent program.
Okay, perfect. And then is there anything in the, I didn't see it or it wasn't jumping out at me, as far as, I know that we spoke about at the last meeting about reporting back and coming to us with, suggestions or updates or issues or whatever. Is it detailed in the contract, or is it just, are we just?
It's in the
It's
scope
in
of
the-
work. In
okay.
Section 10, there's levels of service reporting. They're going to provide monthly reports.
Perfect.
To Tim, and then I believe they're going to be here on a quarterly basis to report to you.
Great. And then staff, are we just, as far as marketing or advertising, is that just, are we kind of holding off until we get it started and then?
Sorry. We had talked about opening it up as soon as available. I don't think there would be any reason to delay that.
Okay.
But by the same token, we had talked about the opportunity with local, but you guys had discussed opening it up just to get it moving forward and minimizing the expense. So I believe that was the direction that was taken last, or
Perfect.
that was the direction given.
Okay, great. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Kelly. I do see ACM Andrew Mack in the audience. I know he's here for questions or comments. Just want to make sure you didn't have anything, Andrew. Okay, perfect. Tim, were you about to say something?
I just wanted to make sure Andrew was here in case there were any considerations in regards to the interlocal agreement with the city, as well as utilizing the city electrical service and the parking and whatnot. So,
Okay, perfect. So we have a motion. We have a second. Public comment? All right, public comment in person. If you would like to speak on this item, please come up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes. Okay, seeing none, that concludes in-person public comment. All right, moving to online public comment. Again, I just see the 2 ASL interpreters and then also Mr. Bagley. Mr. Bagley, just to confirm you don't have anything else you want to add?
Nothing else to add. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. That concludes in-person online public comment. And we'll go ahead and we have a motion, we have the second, so we'll go ahead and those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The motion passes unanimously. And that concludes this item. I see nothing for CRA projects in progress.
Just a reminder, it is 7:05 PM.
Yep. So if I'll just
If
give
I
this-
could just, one item with the CRA Advisory Board, we did meet. We had our meeting this month.
Unlock your iPhone first.
No, I won't. So they did appoint a chair and vice chair, and they also reviewed the calendar dates. They currently do not have any pending assignments. So typically how we handle this, if we don't have a pending assignment, we don't have a meeting. So I just wanted to make that known. If we don't have anything pending, we won't have the meeting. So that's open for your discussion as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tim. So I'm going to make the suggestion at the next CRA meeting that we maybe have an agenda item to discuss any assignments to assign the CRAB board. Are you guys okay with that? Board Member Kelly?
Okay.
Tim, have you done an introduction to the,
I have met with almost all the individual members and done an onboarding. They did request at the next meeting to present some of the CRA projects that we have ongoing and the status of them. And I thought that would be good, just to have an understanding of what all the irons we have in the fire and what we're
Perfect.
doing
And then
currently, so.
You can talk about Circuit now that this is moving forward, maybe
Oh,
talk
yeah,
to
I
them
mean,
about
if you-
Circuit, maybe have
Oh,
them
yeah,
do the survey.
absolutely. We're going to go
maybe-
overview of the Cottage District, all the different projects that we have going on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have stuff to do at your meeting.
Okay, so
what you're
what you're suggesting, Board Member Kelly, if I understand, is, typically there wouldn't be a meeting because there's no assignments. But from what I'm understanding is Board Member Kelly is maybe asking to move forward with a CRAB meeting and kind of do an overview of all the projects that we have going on in the CR now instead of skipping the meeting. Do I hear that
I
correctly?
mean, I always hate to just skip a meeting
Right.
because then it's another month and then,
Yep.
we lose members. And so, I mean, that would be my position, but I defer to staff on
Okay.
what.
I have no problem doing a
comfortable
little
with.
So
presentation.
I'm
for it.
okay with that too. I think that's a great idea. Is consensus is okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that concludes CRA Advisory Board. We decided nothing from Section 15.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, this concludes Power Hour.
Power hour in 7 minutes.
Hey, we weren't too far off the pace, huh?